Good morning, good morning, good morning. So here is Geegado, Megwan, which means talking feather woman, also known as Rollie, Allaire. So welcome back to another weekly oracle card messages. And so for those of you who are catching this on the podcast, you are having access to this because I decided last week after the live that I am going to add the entire thing instead of the small blurb that I add onto TikTok. I decided I was going to go ahead and do that. And so, yeah, that is what we are doing. And speaking of TikTok, I have to go and add that from yesterday. So, weekly Oracle card messages is we will receive 3 group messages, and then I will disappear from here and go into the private Facebook group and YouTube. And on replay, you'll actually have access to the entire thing. And the reason why is because somebody who actually gets the weekly messages has asked if they would actually be able to get it audio through the podcast as opposed to just inside the Facebook group because they've been doing it through audio. So that is my, so I decided to add that yesterday. Good morning, Austin. So I decided to add that, I said yesterday, last week. It has been a crazy busy week trying to get things ready for the women's conference. So we're doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And so every morning I have to be up like bright and early, except for this morning because today's interview is going to be at 7:45 this evening, and it's not really an interview. It is me. So I'm going to be sharing about me and the conference, and I'm going to be sharing like the outline of what it is that it's going to look like, that kind of thing, because there's been some questions about that. So within a 10-minute span, I'm going to share some more details about the women's conference. And then the other reason, or the other thing that has been a little, has helped to keep things busy is this weekend we were painting the baby's room. So we started doing that. So I'm in some grubby clothes today because I'm heading back over so that we can do some sanding of some of the spots that we need to do. And then so that we can finish painting the room sometime this week. So I'm not sure if it'll happen to be on the weekend or next week, I guess, technically. But yeah, or if you're my husband, then today is the first of the week. But the first of the week for me starts on Monday. So anyway, all that to say, welcome. So I have not pulled from this deck for a really long time, even with clients. So, and for whatever reason, I decided that I was going to do that this morning. Actually, not for whatever reason. I was actually going to pull out the Moonology deck because today is the new moon in Leo. And so I thought perhaps that I was going to use the Moonology deck, but instead I decided to pull the Queen of Moon Oracle. So by Stacey DeMarco. And so she has guidance through lunar and seasonal energies is what it is actually called. So I am going to pull from that deck this week. And so happy full moon in Leo for all of you. And yeah, so today is my son's birthday on top of that. So my oldest is turned 28 this morning at 12:45 a.m. So he is my Aquarius baby. And so yeah, so it is his birthday today. So I am looking forward to having dinner with him and the boys, and him and the boys. There's only one other boy, and my husband and my mom and probably my mother-in-law. That's great. Wish him a happy birthday from us. I will. Yeah, so our first message for today is a jumper. Oh, we have 2 jumpers for today. And I love this deck. This deck is absolutely beautiful. I don't know why I don't use it as often as I probably could. So this one here is the Void. So this is the dark moon, so the Void. So oftentimes you will see posts that will actually talk about the void of course moon, and that means that it's actually that transit between the one energy of one moon versus the other energy of the other moon. So so for example, I believe that we're actually in a void moon right now. Let me check. Actually, I did not check this morning. No, actually we are not. So we are full on into the Leo moon. The Leo moon started, Leo, so which is fire energy. It started at 3:49 a.m. Eastern. And so, but we did have a void moon, and it was while we were sleeping. So it was a very short void moon from 1:18 to 3:48 a.m. And that was kind of coming from the Cancer moon. So when we're in that void moon aspect, it's that transition between the two. And so this is the void, this is the quiet, this is the when there's not anything. But in this particular instance, I believe she's actually talking about that darkness of the moon before we're going into a dark moon, I believe, or into a new moon. So I believe that that's what this particular author talks about, but we'll see. And so the next, so we had a jumper, the quiet before the storm. Yes, actually, exactly, the quiet before the storm. And so the next one is wisdom. So this is the waning gibbous moon, is about wisdom. So that's the 6th phase of the moon. And then this one here's the 3rd phase of the moon. And so this one here's surrender. So we've got the void, wisdom, and surrender. So it's like going within and just really kind of tapping into what it is that we have going on, reflecting, seeing where things need to be shifted or changed, or and which is so appropriate with this full moon, but it's also about celebrations, right? So celebrations. So the full moon, actually, the exact full moon is at 1:28 p.m. Eastern time. So we haven't hit, and what I mean by the full moon is when it's like full, like at its peak is going to be at 1:28 p.m. Eastern time. So there's some moon teachings in there. I have not been on for Monday Moon Musings. It has been crazy trying to get all the rest of the things ready for the conference. So I haven't been able to do that. And so, but we have a moon chat tonight that was supposed to be yesterday, but we're doing that tonight. And so we're going to be going through some charts. So yeah, really exciting. And so our next moon is assessing. So the first quarter moon is about assessing, checking to see where things are at. So we've got the void, the wisdom, surrender, and assessing. And so our final group message before I disappear into the Facebook group and YouTube, and then back again for the replay on the podcast. So our final message is will. So we all have our own free will. And so without that free will, so no one can make us do anything. It's about a choice that we take. And so oftentimes we hear people say, yeah, well, so-and-so made me do that, or so-and-so made me feel angry, or so-and-so, right? So it's not about what they did, because it's about the choices that we make. And so that is that reminder of that we have the will. So we also have, so that will is also that part of us where we can actually kind of move ahead. And so, yeah, so we've got the void, wisdom, surrender, assessing, and will. Okay, so I will be back next Sunday with our weekly Oracle card messages for anybody on my private page. So goodbye to everybody there. And goodbye to everybody on Rollie Allaire, Holistic Life and Wellness Coach. And, ooh, that didn't work. Try that again. And of course, my husband's messaging me. And the last message is, or the last place is on LinkedIn. So I will chat with you guys later. Oh, yes, angel messages tomorrow. You're right, Fussin. So tomorrow evening is angel messages at 8 p.m. Okay, so now we are inside the Facebook group. And so for those of you who are catching the replay on the podcast, enjoy. So if you're catching this on the podcast, send an email to info@rollieallaire.ca if you want to be added to the weekly list. And so, or if you're catching this on someplace else, including YouTube, or inside the Facebook group, you can go ahead and hashtag weekly, and I will add you to the weekly list. If you're on right now and you want a message, then again, during the live portion. If you're on right now, then send me hashtag or that you want, not hashtag, just that you want a message, and I will definitely get you added to today's list, hashtag weekly, if you want it on a regular basis. Okay. And if you're on the replay, then hashtag weekly inside the Facebook group, and I will also get you added that way for next week. Okay, so today I am going to start with Angie. So Angie, darkness. So this is the long night moon. So this is the long night moon, and so it's darkness. So darkness comes up because we need to look at, look within. So what are some of the things, or let's take a look at those shadow sides, those parts of us that we're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I want to deal with that. Oh, I don't want to have to deal with that particular thing. So that's what that message is. So that's darkness. And so for anybody who is inside specific groups or programs, you have been getting emails, and so they may be going to spam. So I have sent them out. And so if it's angel messages, for example, there is a square bracket, A and then M and then square bracket closed with a, I can't remember if it says program update or something to do with update. And then within, it gives you instructions on how to be able to get into the Telegram group, if that's where, if it has a Telegram group, which Angel Messages does. It also will be, and not for Angel Messages tomorrow, because it will not be set up by tomorrow, I can guarantee it. But what's going to happen is that if you are registered for any programs, then you will actually start to get the program emails as well. And so good morning, Cindy. So when you're getting the program emails, if you can reply back to the email and let me know that you got it, that would be helpful, so that the system recognizes it and hopefully will stop putting it into spam, because that's one of the things that's been happening. But it's a new system. So we're going from our old system over. And so it's, so this is my first process of kind of getting things started that way. And then, so we've got, and the ones that I've sent out already is Soulful Life Hacks, Sacred Soul, Sisterhood, and Angel Messages, and Yoga Nidra. So those emails for the systems have already gone in. And so the other part of it is, so again, replying to the email lets me know that you've received it, and then the system recognizes it so that you can get ongoing messages for those particular programs, because that's where the Zoom link is going to be. That's where all that, or if there's going to be updates, things like that. So the new system allows me to be able to send off a quick email or a quick message by email as well. Versus the old system, I had to go in, log in, and do a whole bunch of like steps. Whereas this one here, I can actually just do it very quickly from my phone if I need to, which that's typically not going to happen. But our quick updates are usually just in the Telegram group anyway. But yeah, so lots of things going on. And so all the replays are going to be in this new system, all that other fun stuff. So I'm working on it, getting it ready. Including Yoga Nidra. So Yoga Nidra will have the replays to the recordings on, and for anybody who's in Yoga Nidra, it's not always, it's always recorded, but not always uploaded, simply because sometimes it didn't work. And so the shares are never recorded. It's only the meditation that's recorded. But sometimes internet is a little bit sloppy, so I don't upload those ones. But this way here, you'll have access to those readily as well in the new system. So the new system, as far as I know, again, I'm still playing around with it, but the new system, as far as I know, has like an app system so that you can actually access the content from your phone as well, more easily than our old system. So we're working on it. So slowly but surely, things are getting moved over and getting done. And while I'm still trying to prep for the conference. So anyway, all that from an admin craziness perspective. So anybody in this group as well. So I cleaned up the group as well. And so anybody inside the group, so our group numbers have decreased. And the reason why it's decreased is that I'm hoping that this will actually help it so that people are getting better notifications inside the Facebook group. And so that will actually help within there. So, but yeah, so, and if anybody is on YouTube or on the podcast, the group that I'm talking about is Mind, Body, Heart, and Soul Connection Facebook group. And so this is the only Facebook group that I have. Everything else is moved over to Telegram. So this is the only one that I still have up and running on Facebook, is that Mind, Body, Heart, and Soul Connection group. And so you can share the group with people. They do have to register in order to be able to jump into the group. And but I'm also going to be sending an email, probably not this week, it'll probably be next week, to the Facebook group, just to be able to get everybody up and running that way as well. But yeah, so it's coming slowly but surely. And yes, Cindy has just started just on time. I was a little bit late, so it was, I think it was 11:20 when I started. And then I've been just chatting. Okay, so on that note, the next person is Marianne. So Marianne, ooh, you've got the worm moon. So the worm moon is faith. So you have faith. So focus on faith this week is your key message. Diane Linden, and I have to say her last name because she is more than one Diane inside the group. So Diane Linden. Ooh, you've got the full moon. The pictures are very beautiful, aren't they? And that's what I said. I don't know why I don't use this deck more often. I really like the messages that come out with this card, with this deck, but for whatever reason, I haven't. I'm trying to think when the last time is that I used this deck. And it was definitely at the old building because I have not used them in this building at all. So power, full moon power. So that is your message, Diane. So the deck that I'm using is this one. So Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. And so she has, so of course it has the book, which I don't use during the live. And so it has like, so in the description part, so it has like the name. So it tells you which moon, which phase moon it is. So waxing crescent, for example, is the one that I've opened up to. And this one here talks about self-love. So that's the word at the bottom of the message. And then it talks about, so it talks about what self-love is, et cetera, and then it gives an affirmation. So in this particular case, it's every day I bring radical self-love to body, mind, and spirit. And then it has like a whole description. So this one here starts off with, sometimes we feel that we are not enough. And I love that because that is one of the things that happens. But it also has on the back of it, so it has a very long description. And then it has on the back of it, companion stone or metal, rose quartz. So when you have the self-love card, rose quartz, this one here is the waxing gibbous, so it has to do with fear, is the subject. And this one here is the companion stone or metal is aquamarine. So I really like this deck. And like I said, I don't know why I don't use it more often, or haven't used it more often. Maybe now that it's like back in my peripheral vision, it may be used more often. But I also have lots of decks, so that probably doesn't help. But I tend to still go back and pull from the same ones. So you'll have to add it to your list of cards that you want. Hey, so let me know. I'm not sure when I'm placing another order, Cindy. So yeah, definitely let me know. Okay, so now back to the cards. So Kimberly. So Kimberly's message is change. So change is your message. So this is the thunder moon. So change. So that is your message, Kimberly. And Sabrina. Hopefully it will not be too dusty when you arrive today, because we're doing some sanding so that we can finish painting the baby's room. So it's a really nice, I don't know that aqua green is the right one. Baby green, very, very subtle little green, and it's really beautiful. Oh, and Sabrina, you had a jumper. I wasn't even paying attention, and there was a jumper for you. Okay, so this is your message. Oh, I love this card. So this one here is self-reflection. So this is the waning gibbous, and self-reflection is what you need to be focusing on. So that's self-reflection. And so it's the same person. And so it's actually really interesting. So it has the same image, of the same person, but one looking front, one looking back. And then when you look through the water or look through the reflection, it's the same thing, but in the water. Now I don't know that it's mossy green. Actually, I don't even know if you, because of course I get it on my, so it's, I try not to lift my shirt too much, but it's like that kind of green. So yeah, so she's got, yeah, those are the colors. The other card is completely distracted. Squirrel, as Tracy would say. So boundaries. And so she's within a bubble. So waxing give us 3 is, so the third phase is boundaries. So those are your 2 messages, Sabrina. And actually, I'm going to write them down. Because maybe during the session, for whatever reason, I think that we need to talk about it. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Because as you know, pale ice cream. Yeah, maybe. So, but anyway, it's very pretty. Actually, maybe what I'll do is try and see if I can take a picture. It won't have like the right, because it's just going to be the first coat. Because we did 2 walls. The one wall is being painted a lighter color, and then the other one is the one that we had to have sanded. So we can only paint 2 walls, but it won't have the second coat today because we're going to do sanding today. So that is our focus for today. And then we don't have very many more weeks left. Okay, so Christine. Hey Sharon, did you want a card for today or on a weekly basis? So beginnings. So this is the new moon. So new moon is your message. So beginnings. So you're coming back. Almost looks like the color of the water at the glaciers. Oh, maybe. I've never been there. Glaciers in Banff Park. I've never been there, so maybe. So let me know if you want a message, Sharon. Yes, please. Do you want to be back on the weekly list? Because we've cleaned up the list, so we're starting again. And Margaret is release. So that is your message, release. Okay, so I'll add you to the weekly list. And if somebody's catching the replay, it is 11:38 right now, a.m. on Sunday. So if you're catching the replay, let me know, and I will hashtag weekly, and I will get you added to the list. Okay. Let's stick this back in my little spot. Okay, so Sharon is added to the list. Okay, so release. Who was that? That was Margaret. Release. Look at all those butterflies. I don't know if you can see them, Francine, so that you can share that with your mom. But all the butterflies are up in this space. And butterflies is transformation. Lots of transforming happening for your mama. She got out of Extendicare. So is she in another nursing home? Oh no. Is she okay? That's not good that she got out on that really cold night. Hopefully they found her quickly enough, because I'm going to guess that she probably wasn't bundled to go out either. Okay, so Jennifer. So Jen, oh, look at that message. You've got gratitude. Gratitude. And last quarter moon. And I don't know if you can actually see that. In the message in the card, Jen is, of course, those of you on podcast can't see it, but it has an older hand and a younger hand embracing, like holding each other. And so I don't know. And I love it. I love it. So maybe it doesn't mean what it is that I'm feeling that it's meaning, but I feel that it's a connection with someone. So Jen, let me know. Hey, Diane. So I did pull your card this morning, Diane. You were 1, 2, 3. You're the third message up. And so next message is for Kelly. So, oh my God, that's not good, Francine. She must have been scared. Yeah, I would imagine. So the path. And that's even if she was actually cognizant of that. So she may not even have been aware. So the path. So that is your message. So waxing crescent 6, the path. So next message is for Francine. Thank you getting here late. Grand Quinn's twins' 12th birthday. Yay! I think her bracelet didn't work. Okay. Okay, so and my sister just sent me a message. She's already heading over to my son's. So I better let Sheldon know to go start the car. So excuse me while I send a message. Because apparently he didn't know what time I was leaving. So, but my sister's already heading over there. So we're getting ready for the baby. It's so exciting. So exciting. March 17th is the due date. So we're going to see her mom thinks that she's going to be having the baby much sooner. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so next message is for Francine. I know that I've already said your message, but I need to give you another message, the unexpected. So the blue moon, the unexpected. So one of the things with the blue moon, I'm like really talking a lot about the moon today. So one of the things about the blue moon is that people will have messages that are like, we'll hear about the blue moon and people will say, oh yeah, well, it's another blue moon or whatever. But a blue moon, the rarity of it is that, or at least this is my teachings, is the rarity of a blue moon is that it happens when there are 4 moons in one, 4 full moons in one season. So if it hasn't made it from season to season, then it's not a blue moon. And so I often see people say, oh yeah, this is a blue moon because there's 2 moons in 1 month. So 2 moons in 1 month doesn't necessarily mean that it's a blue moon. It's there are 4 moons in one season. So sometimes we'll have at the beginning of January, for example. So at the beginning, because it's a 5-week month oftentimes. So like we'll get a full moon at the beginning of January and then we'll get one again at the end of January. And so people will say that that's a blue, like the second one is a blue moon. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a new moon or a blue moon because you have to check to see where the moons actually fall in the season. So anyway, that's my tidbit and that's my teaching and my information. So Cindy, you are next. So Cindy, so you've got the full moon, which is power. So you have the full moon, which is power. So that is your message. So we're right smack dab in the middle of that full moon at 1:30. What time did I say? 1:28 p.m. You're welcome, Francine. So 2 messages pour toi, Francine. Okay, Melanie. So Melanie's message is, you've got release. So release. And so you've got those butterflies as well. And actually, now that you're getting this message, and I'm hearing what it is that Francine has said about her mom. So no frostbite or hypothermia. I hope she doesn't get sick from it. And so her mom escaped. It sounds horrible, but she escaped from the extended care. So she got out without anybody noticing when it was like really, really cold. Because we've had some really cold weather for anybody who is not from around here. We had some like minus, almost minus 50. So minus 44, I think, minus 46 with the wind chill. We had a couple of nights that were like super, super cold and her mom got out on one of those. And so, but when I'm looking at this, now that I know about that escape, it was like that release. She had that opportunity to be able to get out. So, but yeah, so it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. It's not funny, and hopefully she's not hurt or that nothing happened that way. So like that's where the part is not funny. But okay, so that was Melanie's message. So Sharon, your message is next. So Sharon, you've got the worm moon, which is faith. So you have faith in whatever it is that you have going on. Just trust. just trust in spirit, just trust in God, just trust in whatever that higher being or higher power is for you, that everything is going to come the way that it needs to. And so Madame Blair is re-added to the list. So I think this is the first time. I don't think I've did a message for you last week. And so you've got the blue moon as well, the unexpected. So I love how interesting that it actually happens. So we have, how many cards in this deck? We have 44 cards in this deck. And how many more times, or how many times do we end up with double, right? So like, it's like this card came up for somebody, this card came up for somebody, and it came up again for somebody else. And so like, I always think that that's so incredible, because you guys see me shuffling. So it's not like, and then I take the card and I stick it in the center of the deck, or somewhere in the deck, and then before I start shuffling. So it's not even like it was at the top of the deck or anything like that. Like it's random inside the deck, and then they just show up. So it could have been really bad. So grateful to the person that saw her and got her back in. Awesome. So, so because she wasn't hurt and everything was good, it's like that release, right? It's like that coming out of her shell, coming out of her cocoon, to be able to greet the that connection with the outside world. So again, not good that she escaped, because that's a whole safety issue. Something needs to be they need to make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, so really cool. So Lori, you also received the message extremes. You've got the hot moon. So you've got that blue moon and you've got that unexpected moon. So those are your two messages. And for whatever reason, there's a couple of times though that I've done that today. And next person is Melissa. Melissa is Waning Gibbous 2. So you've got the Waning Gibbous 2. Oh, look at that, how sparkling that is, and pleasure. They barred that back door. Nobody is going to use it. Okay, good. Good. That is like super important. And Sherry, you have a jumper. So Sherry is last but not least. So Sherry, your message is fear. So you have fear. So that is the Waxing Gibbous 2. And so fear sometimes stops us from taking those steps, because something comes up to stop us on whatever it is that we have. And then, but you also have the jumper of action. So whatever action that you're supposed to take, you need to not allow the fear to stop you from moving forward. So those are our messages for today. And I will be back next week with another weekly Oracle card messages. And yeah, so everybody, I will talk to you guys soon. And for those of you who are on the podcast listening to this for the second time, I'm happy to know that you guys are here. And if you want a message so that you can hear it, then please send me a message to info@rollieallaire.ca, and I will make sure that your name gets added to the list. Make sure that you're clear as to what it is that you're looking for, though, so that I can, or you can actually go to my website now, because there's a chat section. So you can actually go in and you can chat with me there as well. Anyway, I will chat with all of you guys later. It may be chatting with team members at some point, but right now it's chatting with me. So I will chat with everybody later, and have a fabulous day. And I'm glad that it's warmer. And so for anybody who who doesn't know where we are, it is only -9 degrees Celsius right now. So if there's a wind chill, I'm going to go check. I'm going to check, because we've had like minus somethings, and then see full forecast, massive change to the weather, and so it's still pretty cold, but not as cold as it was. So have a good day, and I will chat with all of you guys later, because now my internet's being funky. So I will chat soon. Bye for now. Maybe